Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm diving into one of the most iconic aspects of WWE entrance music, from legendary themes that give you goosebumps to the current tracks that, well, let's just say they don't always hit the mark. So let's break down the history of WWE entrance music, from the legendary Jim Johnston to the current era with Def Rebel, and why WWE might need to rethink their approach. And we start with the birth of WWE entrance music. Entrance music in WWE wasn't always the spectacle we know today. In the early days, superstars didn't have personalized themes, but everything changed when Jim Johnston came onto the scene in the mid-1980s. Johnston is a musical genius who composed countless legendary themes, from Stone Cold Steve Austin's glass-shattering anthem to The Undertaker's eerie, bone-chilling gong. His ability to capture a wrestler's persona in a few seconds of music was unmatched. Fast forward to the 2010s, and WWE transitioned to the CF0 as their primary music producers. CF0 brought a fresh, modern vibe with catchy, high-energy tracks that instantly became fan favorites. You think back to the black and gold days of NXT and all the theme songs that came with the superstars there. You still hear some of them today, like with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But speaking of old CFO songs, how about Shinsuke Nakamura's epic violin entrance, or the Bobby Roode's glorious theme. It's a shame he doesn't wrestle anymore, because that was such a great theme song. Their music felt dynamic, and it elevated the superstars' entrances to another level. Another one too is Seth Rollins' The Second Coming. I will admit, that is something with the CFO songs, is that when you were listening to them on YouTube, they did go a little bit long. Like 4 minutes. You probably didn't need like 4 minutes, like maybe 2-3 minutes of it. But nonetheless, it was some good music. But then came Def Rebel around 2020, and things started to shift, and not necessarily for the better. While Def Rebel's production is technically sound, their themes often lack the emotional punch and uniqueness that fans grew accustomed to. Many of the tracks feel generic, with repetitive beats and less focus on storytelling through music. This hasn't gone unnoticed. Both fans and even some WWE superstars have expressed disappointment with the current state of their entrance music, and it's not hard to see why. You think about, going back to CFOs for a second, AJ Styles has a pretty solid theme song from the CFO, and then Def Rebel gave him a new theme song, and nobody really seemed to like it. Not even Styles himself, who then, once he returned to the Rumble, came back with his old theme song, and well, all seemed right with the world. Sheamus is another prime example as well. Sheamus had that song, the Lobster Head theme song. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. Written in My Face, I think it was. I think that's the title of it. But it's such a good theme song, and he brought it back for a little bit, and then for whatever reason WWE took it away and had Def Rebel create him something that just doesn't really feel the same, doesn't really quite feel as right. Now, there have been some hits from Def Rebel. Roman Reigns, Head of the Table, and even his newer one, I Am Greatness. Those are, I'd say, some pretty good theme songs as well. Jey Uso's Main Event-ish. You think about how popular Jey has become, and how popular yeeting has become. It ties into the entrance music as well too. It works pretty well there. Rhea Ripley, her theme song "Demon in Your Dreams," I think that's another popular one there as well. Now, it wasn't written completely by Def Rebel, but it's still a good song nonetheless. I could have thrown out the fourth one on here, Seth Rollins, and his theme song too. LA Knight, he had his old theme song, he's got a newer one now. But you could go on and on with some of the ones that have worked, but I think there's a lot more misses. Like Andrade, I think, is a pretty prominent example. You compare his CFO song to his Def Rebel song. Sami Zayn's another one. I talked about Sheamus. I talked about AJ Styles. There's a lot more misses than there were hits with Def Rebel. So, what went wrong? Well, part of the issue is WWE shift towards a more corporate, homogized sound. I hope I said that word right. But Def Rebel's tracks sound like they were designed for background noise rather than making a statement. And as somebody who does listen to quite a few Def Rebel tracks, I can confirm it does make good background noise. The lack of individuality makes it harder for new stars to establish iconic moments, especially at the Royal Rumble. I saw the sentiment with Finn Balor too. Finn Balor, he came out with that theme song and nobody really knew what it was. I think we can all agree that his demon version and his regular version of, like, I think it was Catch Your Breath is the CF0 theme song. I think everybody would be fine if Finn went back to that. That was such a good theme song. Even if Finn doesn't do the thing with his arms anymore, I think it's still a good theme song. The one Def Rebel gave him, it's kind of just meh. It's not really that good of a song. And then the Judgment Day one isn't any better. And that's part of the issue too, is that, you know, I think that's kind of why there was a lot of noise and around Def Rebel coming out of the Royal Rumble, was because, you know, part of what makes the Royal Rumble so great is when that entrance music hits and you just instantly know who it is and you're able to get all excited about it. But with some of these Def Rebel tracks, you have to, like, pause and take a second, like, who is that? And this just came into my mind too. Logan Paul just debuted new theme music from Def Rebel. I will admit, Take Flight's not a bad song. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's not terrible. His new song, it didn't really sound that great, and even CM Punk wasn't impressed with it. So that's just kind of the issue too, is that, as I say, theme songs help establish, help superstars kind of stand out a little bit more, and it's kind of hard to do that when everything sounds so bland and generic. So how can WWE fix it? Here's the solution. Let superstars choose their own theme musics or bring back the classics. WWE is sitting on a gold mine of legendary entrance music that still resonates with the fans. Imagine newer stars or even some older stars revamping older themes or having the freedom to select tracks that genuinely represent their characters. It would inject fresh energy into while honoring WWE's rich musical history. So yeah, if WWE's still able to use some CF0 songs, then I imagine that they still have access to the whole library. And you have access to the whole library, you're just sitting on all this music. Why not use it? If the Def Rebel stuff isn't that popular, if certain superstars are like, hey, we don't like it, and you're sitting on some good stuff there, why not do it? Or at the very least, let them try to produce their own music. Let them go out, produce their own entrance music, let them come up with something. I think that's probably more feasible in terms of letting them pick their own music, is letting them go out there, make some deals, helps produce some music. So I can't imagine if WWE wants to shell out a bunch of money to certain artists to use their theme songs. That's understandable. But again, I think just letting the superstars either pick an older theme song that WWE has the rights to, or at the very least, let them collaborate and kind of put something together that they think will work, and then just kind of let them take a chance. You know, you give them so much freedom to do so much else. Why not some freedom with the entrance music? So what do you think? Should WWE stick with Def Rebel, bring back some classics, or let superstars have more creative control with their entrance music? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more wrestling content, and comment down below as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.